Hey everyone, I'm Stephen Corliss. This is LEAP, the League of Emergent Architectural Practitioners. If you're just joining us for the first time, this is a mentorship and sort of a consultation program for architects, young professionals, students, or even seasoned veterans who are interested in learning about new emergent technologies and workflows in architecture. This is pretty much an ongoing series. It's basically going to be me on here answering questions for anyone who pops on. And in the meantime, if there are no questions, I'm simply going to be doing some work. So right now I'm just going to take off from where we left off of yesterday. And if you weren't joined yesterday, feel free to go back and check where we were. We were doing some AI elevation renderings. So I said yesterday, it was actually 2 days ago. We go live at least a couple times a week. Right now it's every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And like I mentioned the last time, we were doing elevation renderings using AI for a client who was actually a contractor who had, from the village rejected some hand-drawn elevations and they were asking for colorized versions. And so what we did was took the hand-drawn elevations and we ran them through PromeAI. There's a lot of different AI generators that use ControlNet in the background to basically host the image geometry and give you photorealistic renderings. So that's what we did. I'll pop one open on my screen right now so we can kind of see, take a look at what we were doing. So if you can see above me up here, it's flashing through, but you can see the hand sketches and then what we had converted it into, the photorealistic renderings. There were 3 plans in total. 2 of the plans were pretty similar. The only thing that changed between them was like a gable roof line, like a hip versus a gable end. And then the other floor plan you can see was different. It was sort of a smaller footprint. The garage didn't have as much massing above it. So we did 2 options for each, pretty much a light scheme and a darker scheme. And yeah, we thought they turned out pretty nice. The contractor and the municipality really liked what they saw. So it was a win-win for everybody. I was on Reddit earlier and there was a comment, there's a lot of conversation right now going on about really the legality and just legal concerns in terms of using AI. And there's serious issues with AI. I mean, in terms of copyrighted material being used in the data sets by a lot of the AI generator companies. But I had a response that I was interested to share with everyone, which kind of got to the heart of, we have a responsibility as users to not, really abuse the technology. But on top of that, I mean, there are ways to avoid, really using it deliberately in the wrong way in terms of like using specific words or artists' names or architects' names to blatantly rip off their work. That's just one very vague way of trying to creatively avoid, being called out for purposely using the technology to copy written material. So, for instance, using words like, swooping or sinuous is better than just flat out copying and saying Zaha Hadid, a design like Saarinen or whatever it is, to get those curving kind of fluid things that everyone's doing these days. Or if it's a modern home, you can just use words like modern, rectilinear, exaggerated shapes, or sculptural, minimal, simple. There's ways to kind of use different terminologies. I'll jump over now to my Midjourney. I just wanted to share, really what I had actually used as inspiration images. I just want to turn this a little bit here. The inspiration images, I, again, didn't want to go online and take images that were similar to the images I wanted to produce. So I went onto Midjourney, and it's like a step removed, but it's something, and generated images of houses and things that I wanted PromeAI to reference. So I'll jump also into PromeAI so you can kind of see what that process was like. It's www.promeai.pro. They had to change the .com for whatever reason. So if you are interested in using it, just make sure you're going to the .pro. This is my page here. If I go to the sketch rendering tool, you can see under the generation history, your generations, and I was just working on something earlier today for something else, but here are all my generations that I did with the reference image. So when you hover over it, let's see if I click it, if it actually brings up, well, this is just a slider that shows you before and after. But when I hover over these, it tells you what the prompt was, so you can simply hover over and click it to copy if you wanted to repeat it. But it also has the reference image in there. Let's see if I click that now. But anyway, it has the reference image that I use, so you can see it's probably pretty small on your screen, the little thumbnail there. If I jump back over into my Midjourney images, it was, I believe, this one right here. So again, to get the brown coloring and everything, I prompted my own reference image in Midjourney to use as a reference image in PromeAI. So just as an example, if you're new to prompting or anything like that, Midjourney, a lot of different people have different styles and approaches of what to do, how to prompt. I'm not really sure how mine compares to a lot of other people's. I have some books that I have for sale. This isn't promotional or anything like that, but I think people were finding my prompts good, and so if you were interested in copying it, there's ways to look back on some old videos that I have where I share the prompts. But something like this, for instance, is the prompt for it is a flat, two-dimensional architectural elevation of an all-tan brick American 2-level home with brown-colored asphalt shingle gable roof, white traditional windows, with a white paneled 2-car garage, a front porch with white painted wood columns during a sunny day. Pretty straightforward. I was really just kind of prompting what I wanted to see. Obviously, it adds a ton of elements that I didn't even have in here prompted in terms of landscaping, shutters, style of brick, the running bond, the soldier courses above the windows. All these things are details that, I've tried to prompt in terms of getting to that level of detail, and it didn't even really make a difference. So what's interesting about programs like this, for instance, I was coming in and I was using an image, in this case for personal uses that I had found on a realtor site of a home, and wanted to prompt over and see what I could make of it, in terms of renovating it or something of that nature. But like I was saying, the interesting thing with that is, and we'll see if I can actually go to the erase and replace tool. Let's see. So if I just click anywhere here, I go to edit, it pops up with image editing, erase and replace, and I'll see if it has any of my history on here. I think it really, generation history, yeah. So you can see I did a lot of generations. I was mentioning a post that I was replying to on Reddit. This process, or actually, it was Reddit, but I had also posted this on LinkedIn. And I went into detail about how, you're not trying necessarily to avoid, you are trying to avoid copyright, but you're not trying to evade it, as if you're doing something wrong. These programs are available. As a consumer, we hope and think that the companies are doing the best they can to eliminate as much copyrighted materials from their data sets as possible. But these were some steps that you could take to, I guess, be creative in a way of not purposely using or referencing copyrighted material. So anyway, the next step of that recommendation I was giving was to make edits to your images. Photoshop now has sort of a generative design tool. It's not sort of, it is called generative design. Midjourney has what's called, let's see. Midjourney has what's called, I know after you upscale it, a vary region tool, and what we have here is erase and replace. And I think there's some other tools or AI generating companies that were calling it erase and replace also. So that's sort of a common phrase for it. But the point was that the more tweaks you make from or to the original image, I mean, it shows that you are making an effort to make it unique. And I think that goes pretty far in terms of copyright law, unique content, trademark infringement. You know, it's not to say that, you know, you can't take a photo of something and photo collage something over it and it can become yours. I mean, that is a process. Things are being used as inspiration all the time, and I know that's sort of a cop-out in terms of creativity, things like that. But it's true. I mean, we all live in this world together. We're all seeing things on a daily basis that everyone else is doing. So, you know, ideas are fluid. And there's a quote, I always forget who the author of the quote was. If I can remember, I'll put it in the description. But it was from a video I had watched a while back, and it was a video about the sampler in terms of music. And the quote was from a famous philosopher, and a New Age philosopher, basically saying a culture free to borrow upon one another's work is richer than a culture that's not. And that is to say that sharing is caring. No, but sharing and building upon one another's ideas is richer in terms of it affords more opportunities for evolution, making the right step in evolution and moving forward in the right path than not. You know, it's like stagnation is when you're just staying still and not progressing. That's the death of humanity. So anyway, wanted to show just, you know, what that erase and replace tool looked like in terms of here. I think this one, like, again, you know, you can ignore the original image had a fence, and this was my regenerated image, but I wanted to remove the fence, so I basically highlighted it and asked it to remove the item, and it did. So, you know, at least a difference from the original image to this image is there's no fence. And now, you know, you do that a number of times, and you can already see, like, from the original image that had that in the background, the other house component, some wonky looking fence in the front, some strange stuff sort of happening on the side of these windows, basically being cleaned up to the point of looking like this. Is it extremely different from, you know, the very origin point? Not necessarily. But if I showed you the original image, which I can probably do, let's see. Sketch rendering tool, generation history. So the original image was this on the left hand side there. So that's the house. It's a house, you know, again, I was just looking at in terms of personal pursuit of things, and wanted to see, you know, so what that had become was very different, I think, than the original. So that was the process that we were kind of running through there. I think, let me take a look to see if there's any comments right now. There's not, so that's okay. we will continue. I'm going to continue on some of the work I was doing earlier, basically taking that image that I had shown you, and I wanted to refine that. So actually, I'm going to open up Photoshop here. One more thing, I just wanted to run back through on Midjourney, because again, it's a great tool. I think the issue, or maybe what I did not state before in terms of the usability of these tools in professional practice, is Midjourney is really great for exactly this: reference images, conceptual images, backgrounds to things. Sure, I think it has to be relatively fictional and kind of imaginative. Once you try using it for very site-specific work, it sort of falls apart in terms of a tool that you can use reliably. The difference between that and what we're looking at over here is these images are all, again, holding the geometry of the original image to produce altered versions of, and that's an amazing tool and quality. And so that component of the AI is called ControlNet. So if you're interested in kind of that aspect, and as a designer really working with that, I know a lot of the LinkedIn designers and or I should say the AI design people that are using AI and showcasing a lot of their work on Instagram, or especially LinkedIn, at least the people that I'm connected with, they rely a lot upon a lot of the programs that use ControlNet. That's how you get a lot of the impressive sort of in place iterative designs that is more useful in everyday practice than just generating these sort of fantasy-based images. Not that there's anything wrong with the fantasy-based. I've got plenty of fantasy-based images going on here. But these were some of the reference images I used for the that other real estate property I was looking at. And the prompt for this was pretty extreme. It actually even used the word extreme, an extremely dramatic, cinematic, forced perspective, although this doesn't really look like it turned out like that. 120-degree field of view, architectural photograph of a modern, sculptural, abstract, artful, very minimal, elegant, refined, simple, sophisticated villa with a black metal siding, large picture frame windows, and blah, blah, blah. Kind of went on to describe some fog rolling in and the blue cloudy sky set in a prairie. And, these are great images that, again, I know are being generated from data sets, but as inspiration images, absolutely, all day. I can sit here and generate and flip through these nonstop. But like I was mentioning, these were more studies I was doing on just interiors. Just great tool for generating inspiration images. But like I mentioned, I do my fair share of abstract work also in this. To model something like this would take days. Not necessarily. Maybe hours now at this point. They've got some pretty good tools in Blender and, surprisingly to say, even like SketchUp to be able to do some of these curvilinear, amorphic looking things. I think the day's reference was because I was talking to somebody else recently about doing animations with this type of stuff and using it in an actual in animation that, if you were to produce something for a consumer, it could take days to sort of put it together and get it the way you want. But now, if you are or aren't familiar with some of the AI video generators like Luma, Dream Machine, you can plug something like this in and get it animated very quickly and stitch it together with like a couple other scenes that tell a whole story in minutes or hours at the most. So the timetable of doing this type of work is definitely shifting, which is great. I mean, I think I have mentioned also probably on LinkedIn that this type of technology affords us the ability to advance our storytelling, to make certain that the work that we're actually doing is purposeful and worth our time in terms of getting an idea across, and not just an idea that is copied, but an idea that is emergent or progressive or just new in a way that is actually going to shape civilization in a better way. I know better is subjective, but I think everyone had started to, at least I did, feel like things were getting pretty stagnant in terms of design, ideology, concepts for designs, just even the styles that we've seen, just edit, copy, edit, paste. Things like this are going to afford us new opportunities to think outside the box in terms of storytelling, why we're telling the stories we are, doing the proper research to make certain that the story is consistent from multiple perspectives, things like that. I mean, that's kind of getting a little philosophical, but it's good to think about. So I wanted to, let's see, we're going to start doing these sessions in like 2 segments. The first 30 minutes are basically going to be us going through either topics that you guys have that you want to discuss, questions that come in, projects that I'm currently working on that I'd like to share, and me talking through it if there's nobody that comes on to discuss. And then the second half of them are going to become basically me just doing work and sharing my process along the way. But the first half will always be more interactive in terms of me being prepared to answer questions. So I'm going to try and have some fulfilling content at least up front at the beginning of these episodes. So let's see. I'm going to... I'm looking for... if there's anything else. So one last thing I'll mention about PromeAI was they do have image generating in PromeAI also. I'll be honest, I haven't experimented with it too much yet. I'll probably do a video on it. It looks good. There's probably there's architecture on here, so here's an example of that. More similar. Let's see if we could find similar. Does it have a similar? No. But there's definitely people doing architecture on here. And if you watched the video yesterday where I actually went through the generator of plugging in a line drawing, it has a lot of options in terms of its own references for different styles of architecture, so that it knows how to better materialize or reshape your image that you're using along with any reference images. So I do think there are architecturally focused sort of programming behind the tool. Some other tools, let's see if I have that I could just list off relatively quickly here. Image generators. Some of the newer ones that I haven't used yet, some of them require you to sign up. Some are free to use for just trials. Are Render, never seen, so I can just sort of open these up. I'll open that. I'm logged out of it. Image never seen was another one. Oh, that was the first one I opened up. Sorry. So it was never seen, and what's the next one? Bear with me. Render was the next one, and Render also looked like it was pretty architecturally focused. So I don't have any orders on hand, but if you come into the main tab, Render AI, you click on, it says getting everything ready. I was attempting to start the rendering that we did using PromeAI, using my reference image, using my sketch, or not my sketch, but a sketch I was approved to use. But similarly to PromeAI, it seems architecturally focused because there were different options that it had to focus on a 3D based render, meaning like an all white, non-materialized model, sketch to render, elevation render. So they had like these architectural terminologies that suggested that it was ready for that. So there's some great tools out there, but I was going to mention back in PromeAI that it also has image to video. And I haven't done this yet either. I'll probably try a video, but here's an example. Let's see. Copy link. Let's see if we just click on this and play it. So here's an example of some work that somebody else did. It's not bad. I mean, it's moving, so that's a start, and it's rotating, so it's more than just the sort of image depth type of animations. So to give credit to this guy, this is Christian Velez, and he's using PromeAI, so shout out to you. Let's see if there's any other examples that are available on the site here. And anybody that's on here shared their work to be displayed, so it's fair use to be showcasing their work. Anybody can go on and look at these examples on their website. Here's one, another one from Christian, and it looks like people can comment on it, so that's funny and fun. I'm sure you can sit there and watch. But text to video. Oh, so he just prompted this. He didn't have a reference image even. So that'll be interesting to actually start to use the image to see if it does an even better job, or it's just always fun and exciting to see your images start to move. Warm, tropical architecture, minimalist, concrete cottage in top of a mountain with the stars of the night, time lapse, high quality, 8K. Nailed it. Yeah, cool. I mean, you can imagine this as a background for something. Again, like I mentioned, this tool is actually becoming pretty good in terms of not replacing, but supplementing or being used as an early concept tool for animations, because it is using the hosted image to, extend upon in terms of architecture and design. So let's see. Christian seems to be the big architectural player here on PromeAI. There's a lot of other ones. I mean, here's like a silly one. We can open and just take a look at how it works through that. A robot, text to video, AI robot, panoramic. All right, so it's kind of moving around. Obviously you can see how these would be a great substitute for B-roll footage for YouTube videos or anything really. So here's another one. It looked like from a different person doing architecture also. So here it's kind of just panning across, but it's keeping the architecture. This was also a text to video, so he didn't have a starting image, and the prompt was photography, cinematic, modern Brazilian house in dusk, 8K, hyper-realistic. So it looks like Prome is having a little bit of difficulty in terms of the hyper-realism. It looks a little cartoony here's an interior shot. Maybe it does interiors a little better. Let's see. That's not bad. I don't know. What do you guys think? Okay, so I'm just gonna hop on and see if anyone has any questions so far. It doesn't look like it. But where am I here? Okay, so we will, that was the first half. If any questions come in while we're doing this portion, I'll certainly answer them. But I am going to be starting to work on some things that I need to get done. And one of them is, well, the main one is that we're going to be doing some comment responses for a permit set that we got. And what else? That should be it for now. I've got a long list of items of stuff that I need to work on. But I thought some of this might be actually exciting for you guys to learn about or see, so we'll be doing some of that here shortly. I just wanted to take a second to gather myself, make sure my screens are prepared here. Hopefully the audio on this recording is fixed. If there's anything that you guys think in terms of audio visual needs help, I'm always open to learning. There we go. So hopefully that was all we needed to take a look at in terms of recapping on yesterday's work. Yeah, I think if we're going to summarize today in terms of new content for this episode, it would be just a full-on recap and sort of starting to explore or explain the workflow, like in a little more detail, discuss how to proactively, work with and through the current copyright issues that are present with AI. There's things like I can see up on my screen right now, characters and things of that nature that look like Disney characters, that look, a lot like architecture that's already been produced. Something that looks like Thomas the choo-choo train, blowing steam and being animated. So it's a very fuzzy line. A lot of things could be argued against. It's a train. It happens to be blue. There's even artwork on here, like a chrome sphere floating in the middle of the desert, which I'm sure has been done before in some capacity. You just have to make sure your intent is honest, and honest in terms of not totally blatantly ripping off someone else's work. Like in the case of Ice Ice Baby, I won't sing it, but yeah, I mean, there's original work, or there's efforts to show originality, and then there's like straight up ripping off. I'll leave that as that. And I'm gonna move on to, let's see. I'm gonna grab some images from the real estate. Because I wanted to work on some interior images of that to sort of extend upon the possibility of buying and renovating. So if you're here, you're with me, feel free to drop questions, comments in the chat, and I'll get to them. So there's like a kitchen image that obviously is always a good one to start with. Bedroom shots, not so much. So let's see, I'll grab a kitchen image. There's a couple there, but I think I got one that's good enough. You find like a main living space. Let's see. Oh, there's more exterior shots, which would be interesting to kind of explore actually the image consistency. But some aerial shots. That's it really. I mean, I think I got what I need. Let's just work on the kitchen. Okay. So let's see. I've got my picture of the kitchen, so I'm gonna come into here. What was interesting was I tried using the image and it worked okay, but it worked better when I converted it into a line drawing first. So they actually have a reverse tool. If you go home, I'm not sure if I see it here on the, oh, photo to sketch, okay. So a photo to sketch tool, you can add the image. So let's see if, I'll just grab this. Here's the image of the kitchen. It's not spectacular, but it's good enough. We're going to go through the process of using Midjourney to produce your own reference image. So what are some things that you would want to hear? Let's see. We can do a modern, minimal, and I know I didn't do the Imagine prompt yet. I'm just typing out modern, minimal. I'm sort of a fan of like juxtaposing terms. Yeah, I mean, I think it helps get sort of unique looks, but it's kind of dialed in on what I'm interested in, like sleek cottage. Yeah, I mean, it's like a variation on modern farmhouse, I guess. Cottage core, I know there's, all these kind of things, but modern, minimal, sleek cottage kitchen with, we'll say, yeah, I don't know, natural oak cabinets, black countertops, black granite countertops, and let's try and be descriptive, and we'll see if it takes any of that. We'll say like matte black granite countertops, and I know the different leather textures and everything, but in terms of texturing with this, I'm not sure it's that sophisticated yet. We could try matte black granite countertops, natural light, natural daylighting with large kitchen island, minimal sculptural lighting, or like pendant lighting. And then I'm going to put some things back up front, like a architectural photograph of a professional architectural photograph of a modern, minimal, sleek cottage kitchen with natural oak cabinets, matte black granite countertops, natural daylighting, a large kitchen island, minimal sculptural pendant lighting, ambient artificial lighting, no upper cabinets, and lots of plants. AR 1916 by 9. All right, let's give that a try. Thanks for bearing with me. I think that's like going through a prompt exercise, unless you're like really curious to learn it from someone, is kind of like listening to someone's dream. You can kind of like go on, and it's not always the most exciting. So what did I want to do here? Just wanted to pop this on for a second. I'm going to take a look. Looks like we have someone, okay, who asked a question. Thank you. The audio is perfect. I would like the video aspect ratio to be 16 by 9 because I'm watching it on a PC and I see the better pictures. I know. I think I'm going to start doing 2 different sessions, one for vertical and one for horizontal. Really, the whole point of this was that it gets integrated into people's feeds, shorts feeds, and I thought it'd be easier for people to pop on while they're on the phone, be notified. These are really intended to act as active mentorship sessions that, you know, I know it's hard or harder, could be, for people to get on their computer when they're at home. It's just easier. Everyone's got their phone in their hand. But certainly, I hear you loud and clear. I think maybe we'll do, you know, if we're doing 2 of these a week, the first one or second one we'll do vertical and one we'll do horizontal. So maybe that's just going to be better in the way things have to move forward. So where were we? Let's see what we have here. Here's our options. Man, these look great. How do you choose? Honestly, I mean, this is like, they really are all beautiful. So I don't know. Just for fun, we're gonna like run that through again, and I'm just gonna upscale all these. Because it's a reference image, I'm not like too concerned with getting things absolutely right, but it's like 90% of the way there for me. And, you know, I know this isn't necessarily unique or anything. It's pretty generic, modern looking stuff. Only a couple of these, or one of them, looks like it actually followed my command in terms of no uppers. So this one would probably be the one I would want to move forward with. It's minimal, elegant, modern, not too cottagey. I think the only thing that would kind of make more of a cottage feel is like it does have these beams above there, but cottages typically don't have very tall lofted ceilings like that. So here's another set, and let's see what this set looked like. Again, pretty cool. I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but like whenever I click the regen or recycle, the prompt tool, the prompts, I'm never as excited about the prompts the second time after cycling them through. They start to get like convoluted or kind of like extreme. So like in this case, like the plants got very plentiful, things got like very modern and minimal, where like the other ones were, yeah, they were, but I don't know, there was a kind of a quaintness and like a softness to them that seemed okay. So again, I like these. I was just going to show you, like, after you upscale them, if you are in Midjourney using Discord and you save them to, or you don't even have to save them. I meant to say if you upscale them, you can head on over to your Midjourney profile, and I think it's the Midjourney Alpha. Really great. It like actually is becoming a good organizational tool for all the images. So I'll have to just refresh here, but it should populate, if you go on the right hand side here to upscales, it'll populate by day, it looks like. Select all. No. So it's going to do it by day. So if you were prompting multiple projects in the same day, that's something to consider. But you can see like the theme that I was doing today was for this, so that's why the images look kind of consistent. So say like this was the exterior of your house and this was the interior. There's sort of a dialogue happening between the two. Or this was the one I liked here. So just wanted to show you that this is becoming a really great tool. You can like actually sweep and select and kind of move things around or categorize them by folder. So that's a really cool sort of feature. So what I liked about this too is like it makes it really easy to bulk download. So I tend to be doing that more often than I would have expected. So to do that, again, you just like sweep through, and I think right click. No, where was the? Oh, at the bottom here it says download. So I just want this one. So if you come here to the right hand side after you just select the one, you download it. It's going to throw it into my download folder. I'm just going to sweep it over onto my desktop. So again, the whole point of doing that was so that we can get to this. So we prompted an image there. Let's see, just to make sure we're not leaving off any open-ended items. I was gonna maybe run like a variation on this. I like the theme of it, so we could do subtle, but I would want to go strong. And again, the artifacts in this one, there's actually not many, but you can use the vary region and kind of edit them out if there are anything, but for our purposes, it's just a reference image for this other generator. So let's hop in here, and I've got the kitchen image loaded from an actual house I'd be interested in renovating. And we'll just run through this real quick, and then we'll do some wrap-ups before the end of the session. So first, that's right, I was going to convert it from the image to a line drawing, because I had mentioned that it actually works better, the sketch to render tool, in my opinion, or at least in the few times I've tried, from a sketch rather than the image itself. So Blueprint gave me some funky, it was like actually blue in one image and then it looked like a rendering in another, but like Outline worked better to just give me like a straight up like line drawing, something you want, positive words, line drawing of a historic, so just line drawing of a kitchen. Anything to avoid? Not really. I mean, I don't want that ceiling fan in there, so no ceiling fan. Maybe that's good enough. And let's generate that. See if there's any questions in the meantime here. Nope. If you are on and just listening, I mean, that's great. That's what these sessions are here for as well. If you have any questions, that's, now's the time to ask. Here for anything really in terms of architecture. So, I mentioned last time, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I'm on here because I want to share my insights and experience through the many phases of architectural practice that I've been through the corporate environment and now off on my own with my own practice. So let's see here. These are the line drawings it's giving me. I said no fan, and it's actually like, it's simplified it, but it's not like a line drawing per se. So you can see these are like some of the previous options I had, but it's probably going to be good enough for our purposes. So let's just take this. You can just add it to your assets. That first one looks like it'll be good enough. So it populated up there for me. I'm going to go to the sketch rendering tool, and I can just start by clicking on that. So I'm not sure if we can eliminate it beforehand. Let's see. I tried enlarging the brush like I was in Photoshop. No, it's not really doing anything. So I think those are holdover tools from previous. But anyway, we are using this as the backdrop line drawing because I want to do an overlay of the existing kitchen. Style, realistic, that's fine. You can explore, have fun. Scene, so again, I was mentioning architecturally focused. It at least has like 4 categories of architecturally related stuff. And then subsequent, furniture design, other kind of industrial design items, but architecture, interiors, commercial spaces, and landscape design. So we'll click on the interior. They've got a kitchen category, excellent. And then it even goes on to have like different categories within interior. Scene elements. Do you want shelving? So it was a kitchen. So yes, I think a refrigerator in this image, a kitchen island, countertops, sink, range hood, plants. Look at that. Cabinetry, dishwasher. I mean, yeah, we want all these things or most of these things. So I'm just gonna click on all those. I don't want a rug. So now it moved me into the other category here. So let's see. We're just gonna stay living in there unless there's anything like funky I want to add to the kitchen, like a toilet. No. We're good. Interior style. Okay, so let's take a look here. German mixed modern. Okay. German minimalism. Okay. Again, let's see if we can kind of like, that's enough for that category. They all look pretty similar to me. I'm not an expert on the nuanced differences between all of these different things, but let's see if they have, okay, so at the top here, they have like modern category, transitional, rustic, coastal, which I do like. They don't have that many, and they're all like very, very coastal. Not very beach housey, and some of them are too modern. Mediterranean. Yeah, I don't know, Bohemian. Kind of wanted a little bit of Bohemian, but I don't know. Okay, I guess we'll throw a little American Bohemian in there. And environment. So I just want it to be daytime. The mode, precise, because I want it to hold to the image geometry precisely. And our reference image. So we'll go to my desktop. I've got this loaded here. Pop it in. Let it load up. Make sure it's selected. It pops into that reference pane down below. And then negative prompt. No ceiling fan. Let's see if this works. If it doesn't, we'll take it in to erase and replace, and we'll get something that we like there. And generate. Also, like I was mentioning before, in terms of copyright and trademark infringement, make sure, whatever program you're using, if you are using the images for promotional work, or especially oh, you know what, it replaced my image. So never mind, we gotta restart that one real quick. Make sure that, okay, it's got it all populated here. Generate. make sure, that you are subscribed to whatever tier that the AI image generator declares that commercial licensing is available. Again, I know there's a lot of it's a rapidly evolving industry, but whatever steps you could be taking to protect yourself is good. So let's just take a look here, because we've only got a couple minutes left on our slider piece. So it's doing a good job. It's got the ceiling fan in there, and it just kind of popped the refrigerator over in the corner there. So I think like if you wanted any modifications to the layout or things like that, you'd have to actually mock it up, and because it's a line drawing, it could be as simple as a PDF, or you can export this and do some hand sketching on your iPad or whatever tablet you have. But just for the sake of, it's got like a plant outside the window there. For the sake of moving forward here, I'm going to just bring this into image, erase and replace, just to show you what the tool is capable of, I hope, and see if we can get rid of this ceiling fan. So I'm just going to select it. It's cool. It's kind of got, it did some image analysis, and now you can kind of pre-select the faces of the cabinets or some of these kind of artifacts and items that are floating around. But in terms of that, you can select it, go down to the bottom here and just say remove, and hope that it does its job. It's got me in a queue of about 30 seconds, so I'm going to start wrapping up here. Again, if you're just joining us now, we do these about hour-long sessions a couple times a week, typically Tuesdays and Thursdays. I got a recommendation to do horizontal format, so I think at least one of the days we'll determine which one we're going to do horizontal streaming and the other will be vertical. Maybe that'll be better for two different parties of people that are either working late and want to jump on, or people that are around different parts of the world who are hopping on at different times. But this is the League of Emergent Architectural Practitioners. We're going to explore everything in terms of the architectural industry, going from being a student, graduating, and getting your license as a young professional, working through the discipline to rise up to whatever ranks you want, all the different phases of architecture, even into starting your own practice. And then on top of that, the other kind of subtopic or side topic is emergent technology and how it's all shaping, shifting, reshaping, addressing issues in the existing industry. Those are topics that we will be discussing on here. So here, I've noticed this before. The image looked like it got a little blurrier after we removed that. I'm not sure why, but they do have upscale tools, so like that's helpful towards the end of this. But you can come in and you can start like modifying element by element, removing. So if you didn't like some of these artifacts that seemed like a little funky, you just come back up to the top here, go back to your image, erase and replace. It'll run another analysis on it based on new items that have made their way into the scene. And I'll just click on that plant, for instance, and let's see if I could just do two at the same time. Like, I'm really not liking that refrigerator just floating there. So this whole wall unit, let's see if we could just take that out and just say remove, regenerate, and we'll let that populate while we sign off here. So thanks again for tuning in. For anyone that was on, shout out to, I don't want to butcher this, but so let me pronounce it in my head before I pronounce it out loud. Heriberto Arquitectura. Thanks for the recommendation. Hopefully you found some of this useful, and won't keep you waiting in suspense. We'll take a look at this before we hop off. But okay, so it actually took it upon itself to make some additional recommendations that are kind of nice. So here we remove the fridge from over there, and then, maybe we can subsequently do another little exercise on the right hand side here to fill it in. It didn't give me a kitchen island. Again, I think like maybe next session we'll work on like taking an image like this, or this image specifically, and pulling it then into our tablet and mocking up a little hand sketch over the top of it and bringing it back in so you can see like what that type of workflow would be like. But anyway, here's where we got to in terms of modifying this original image. Here, this one. So we went from that to this. Not bad. So again, thanks for tuning in. LEAP, League of Emergent Architectural Practitioners. I'm Stephen Corliss, your host and mentor. Would love to have other guests on these shows as well to showcase a variety of perspectives. But if you enjoyed this, let me know either in the comments or find another way to reach out to us. We've got on our website now, which will also be linked below, a way to sign up for email alerts for when we'll be hosting these. Typically, I send an email out 15-20 minutes, maybe a half hour before these sessions go live. And again, right now they're going to be, as of recording, held Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you can make those times, great. If you can, get onto the website, put your email address in the sign up. That way you can be notified. And we can also be found on LinkedIn, where we'll be posting some random content either from these or asking for your recommendations for further discussions. So with that said, thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.